I'm going to be sterilizing an instrument pack using appropriate methods. So I'm going to be using our Tutenauer 2340M manual autoclave, which is a steam autoclave that sterilizes using gravity. So I have selected an appropriate instrument pack. This is our brown pack, which is our general small dog spay pack to sterilize. So according to manufacturer instructions for a full instrument wrapped pack, we should set the machine to 273 degrees Fahrenheit, reaching a pressure of 15 psi. So the way that our autoclave here works is first I'm going to turn the unit on, and then I have my little dial over here with the settings. So our first setting is fill water. It is important to fill the chamber with water. There is a little divot right here at the front that I'm going to, once it reaches there, I'm going to turn my dial to sterilize. So I'm going to fill this up with water. I'm going to wait to put my pack in just so I can see the water coming in and wait till it gets the appropriate line before I turn it off. And then it is important for my sterilization cycle to run for 30 minutes according to this model. And then once that 30 minutes is over, I'm going to manually exhaust the unit and then set it for a 30-minute drying cycle. So it's almost at the divot. Alright, so now that the water has reached the appropriate line, I turned my dial to sterilize, so that is the setting that it is at. So I'm going to go ahead and place my pack in. I'm going to just pull out my little tray, put my pack right in the middle. As you can see, it's kind of a small chamber and my pack just fits in there. So I'm going to just take a peek inside. There's about 2 inches on either side. I don't want my pack to be touching the autoclave on either side, as that can compromise the sterility of the pack. So that looks good on both sides. It's not touching anything besides the tray that it's sitting on. So once that is right in the center of the autoclave, it will get the appropriate steam to it. I'm going to close the door. I'm going to turn this knob, and I'm just going to turn my dial. I'm going to hear a little click, and then I'm just going to give it a half turn more. I don't want to tighten the door too tight, but also not tight enough. So once it's there, it's done. I'm then going to, I have my needles right here that are on my gauge. I have my red needle, which is where I want to set the machine to go. So I'm just going to set it up here right to the line. There we go, just to ensure that it's going to reach the appropriate temperature and pressure. So there, and then once the white needle is going to go up to reach it once it gets there. So I have a timer here. I'm going to set for 30 minutes. And then once that 30 minutes is up, I'm going to manually exhaust the unit, which will let the pressure kind of relieve. And then once the pressure is all the way down to 0, I'm going to just crack the door and then set a drying cycle for 30 minutes. So I'm going to come back in 30 minutes and we'll go ahead and get the unit exhausted and go ahead and start the drying cycle. So my sterilization cycle just finished, it just dinged, and I can see that my needle had went up to reach the other. So I'm going to set an exhaust cycle by just turning the knob here. That's going to release pressure from the unit. The door has a locking mechanism that keeps it locked until the pressure is all the way released, so the door cannot be opened yet. So I'm just going to watch the needle, the pressure gauge fall all the way down. And after that's all the way down, I'm just going to crack the door open. I'm just going to unwind the door handle here and then just pull it as far as it can go. I don't want to directly open the door because of the cool air meets the hot air right away. That'll cause a lot of condensation, which will create the pack to get wet, which will compromise the sterility of the pack. So I definitely don't want that to happen. So it looks like my pressure gauge is all the way down. I'm just going to reset this dial right here so it's ready for the next use. And then I'm ready to open this. I'm going to lift up, just open it. Just be careful not to be on that side, as that's where some steam likes to exit. Alright, so that's as far as I'm going to open it right now according to manufacturer instructions, and I'm going to set a drying cycle. According to the manual, the drying cycle should be set for 30 minutes as well. So I'm just going to set my timer for 30 minutes, and then my dry light is going to come on the machine to indicate that the drying cycle is in place. So once my drying cycle is complete, I can go ahead and remove the surgery pack from the autoclave, and then I can open it to check the steam indicator to make sure that the inside of the pack has reached the appropriate steam as well. My 30-minute drying cycle just finished on my autoclave, so it is ready for the pack to be removed. I have a nice thick towel ready to take the pack out just because it can still be incredibly hot even after going through that long of a sterilization cycle. So I'm just going to open the door very carefully. Alright, and I'm just going to take my towel to pull out the tray. I don't want to burn myself, and I'm going to use it to pull out the pack. Alright, and as we can see, the indicator tape has changed colors on the outside, showing that at least the outside has been exposed to the appropriate amount of steam. So I'm just going to set this on my nice dry flat surface over here and go ahead and put my tray back in and close the door. And I'm going to see how hot my pack is. Alright, that's good. So now I'm going to open it to get the indicator strip out to make sure that was done. So I'm going to peel off my tape. I'm going to open the inner layer. Alright, and right on top is my indicator strip, which the OK has turned black. It wasn't visible before going through the autoclave, so this whole strip and this other circle turned black as well. It says K, arrow, and dot changed to mark black when steam processed. So the OK, the arrow, and the dot have all changed black, meaning that my pack has been exposed to the appropriate amount of steam all the way through. So this was a well autoclave pack. So I'm going to go ahead and get a fresh indicator strip and get this repacked so that we can get it back in the autoclave and ready for surgery.